Hey friends, it's Rana and I'm here today to tell you about all the Asian books I'm planning to read for Asian Readathon. The Asian Readathon is a month-long reading challenge hosted and created by Cindy. It is one of the few readathons that I love to participate in every year, no matter what. So when Sydney posted the announcement video for this year, I was so excited because I completely forgot about it. So I'm here jumping on the bandwagon and picking Asian books to read for the Asian Readathon. If it is not clear from the title, Asian Readathon is a readathon, a month-long readathon dedicated for reading books with Asian characters or written by Asian authors. And as usual, we have 5 reading challenges to follow to have more fun while reading Asian books. If you are new to my channel, I am doing this small challenge with myself called Zero TBR Challenge, where I'm planning to read all the books I own on my shelves by the month of September. And by doing that, I like to make a monthly TBR video at the start of each month where I let Goodreads picks my monthly TBR to make it easy for myself to go through all the books I own on my TBR. But because I'm participating in the Asian Readathon this month, I want to be doing the Goodreads chooses my monthly TBR for the month of May. And because I didn't want the Asian Readathon to hinder my Zero TBR challenge or slow me down doing it, I decided to pick all the Asian books that I wanna read for the 5 challenges by picking Asian books from my own shelves. And it wasn't hard for me to do that because I read a lot of Asian books by Asian authors. And I ended up with 5 books from my shelves that I really wanted to read for Asian Readathon that kindly fit or sometimes fit the 5 reading challenges, in addition to 2 or 3 books that I really want to read that I don't own. Just wanted to mention that most of the books that I'm gonna talk about today are not that well known or not that well talked about on booktube. Now for the 5 challenges, the first one we have is to read a book written by an Asian author. It is the bare minimum to do for a readathon called the Asian Readathon. And for this challenge, I decided to pick probably the most popular book on my stack today is Being Mortal by Atul Gawande. And Atul Gawande is an Indian-American author. He is American, but his parents are Indian. And the reason why I'm mentioning his ethnicity because it is like an extra point in the Asian Readathon to read books from different authors of different ethnicities. I just love reading about medical nonfiction books that talk about life and death. It is just something I really enjoy reading. That's why I picked this book to read for the first challenge. The second book is to read a book that features a friendship between at least 2 Asian characters. I didn't find any books on my shelves that fit this challenge, so I decided to go with a book on my virtual TBR that I have been interested in for a while, and it is a manga called Blue Flag by Kato. I heard many great things about this manga from a couple of my booktube friends who highly praised it and said it is very good manga to read, featuring, I believe, high school friends who end up in like a love square or something like that, but they praised it a lot and loved it and told me that it is a really good manga to read. So I'm really curious to see if I'm gonna like it or not. The third challenge is to read a book written by an Asian author and or featuring an Asian characters that is focused on identity and self-discovery. I love this challenge so much, I picked 3 books for it. And the first one I picked for is an Arabic book called Dagestan Baladi by Rasul Hamza Tuf. This was on my April TBR, but I didn't read it that month after I saw Cindy's video announcing the Asian Readathon and I heard the challenge and I decided to put it on hold for May to read it in May for this challenge specifically. If we translate the title to English, it would be Dagestan, my country, or Dagestan, my home country. And as far as I know, because I really don't like to know much about the books I want to read, it is about a Dagestani character who talks about his country and his identity as a Dagestani person and his self-discovered journey or something like that. So it fits the challenge. As for the second book I picked for this challenge, it is a book that I don't currently own, but I would love to. It is My Pen is the Wing of a Bird, new fiction by Afghan women, and the author is Lais Doucet or something like that. She is not Afghani herself or Asian as far as I know, but the book features Asian characters / Afghani women. I can't remember which booktuber talked about this book first, but since I heard them talk about this book, I knew I immediately have to read it because I love reading books about Afghanistan and Afghani people, even though I'm not Afghani or related to them in any way or form. But since I fell in love with Khalid Hosseini's literature, I really love this country and wanna know more about it and its people. As for the third book, I wanna squeeze for this challenge, even though it doesn't really fit it that much, but I really want to read this book already and start reading it. It is Korea from Rags to Riches by the Korea Institute of Public Administration. It talks about Korea as a country from 1950 to 2010. It features some stories, I believe, about Korean people, and I think it fits this challenge given that it talks about Korea as a country and the identity of some people. So I squeezed it for this challenge because I really want to start this book eventually. And what a better time to start a Korean book than the Asian Readathon. As for the first challenge, read a book written by an Asian author and slash or featuring an Asian character that shows them going on an adventure. Again, I'm being ambitious and I decided to pick two books for this challenge. The first one is The Epic of Gilgamesh by Penguin Classics. It is one of the earliest works of literature in history and the author is not known. But from where it was found, and if we traced it back in history, it shows that it is from that area and it is known in our modern day as Iraq or Iraq. So an Asian author slash Asian character. And the reason why I picked it for the adventure challenge is because at the back it says that it is about a king that goes on a journey and a quest, and there is monsters and a lot of things. So a journey and a quest, it is an adventure in my eye. That's why I picked it. As for the second book, I made it fit. This challenge is an Arabic book, another one, called وتبقى أشجار الكرز تزهر في قلبي دوما by سمير عيسى الناعوري. It is about this gentleman called Samir Isa Naouri. He is a Jordanian politician, and in this book he talks about his journey to Japan and the time he spent there and how he got introduced to the Japanese culture and the Japanese people and what things happened with him there and how he fell in love with that country. So going to another country, I think, is considered an adventure somehow. And now for the fifth and final challenge, we have to read a book that features an Asian character who is either a hot mess, eccentric, or famous. For this challenge, I decided to pick a book that I don't own, and it is Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. It is a Japanese book about a character that a lot of people describe as a hot mess and eccentric, I think. I don't know anything about this book aside from what people called it, and it is on the list that Sydney made on Storygraph for this challenge. I went through all the list and I think this book is one that I'm interested in reading, so I picked it for this challenge. So these are all the books that I want to read for the Asia Readathon. Yeah, I know I picked 8 books to read this month, even though I have been reading so damn slowly, but I am being ambitious and feeling that this month I'm gonna read a lot of amazing books, so that's why I picked all of these. So let's go through them again, because I can't remember if I told you the ethnicity of each author. So again, we have Being Modern by Atul Gawande, he is Indian. Dagestan My Baladi by Rasul Hamzatouf, the author and the character are Indians. The Epic of Gilgamesh, it is by anonymous, but it is traced back to the area of Iraq. وتبقى أشجار الكرز تزهر دوما في قلبي by Samir Isa Naouri, he is Jordanian. Korea from Rags to Riches by the Korea Institute of Public Administration, a Korean book about Korea. Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata, a Japanese author and a Japanese character. My Pen is the Wing of a Bird. It is by non-Asian author, but the characters are Afghani. Blue Flag by Kato, Japanese characters and Japanese author. I just realized that I picked 2 books by Japanese authors for 2 different challenges, which doesn't work. As I said at the start of the video, I need to read books by authors of different nationalities for the challenge to count as complete. So I'm gonna change my pick for the 5th challenge, which I have to read about a character who is a hot mess, famous, or eccentric. And I changed my pick to Chinese Cinderella, The True Story of Unwanted Daughter by Adeline Yin Ma. It is a memoir about Adeline. She is the daughter of a very wealthy, famous family in China. So it counts for the famous thing in the fifth challenge. That's why I'm gonna remove Convenience Store Woman and pick this book instead. So now my picks are correct. I have picked books from all over Asia, from East, West, South, and Central Asia. We have India, Dagestan, Afghanistan, Jordan, Iraq, Korea, China, and Japan. 8 different books by 8 different ethnicities. So that's it for today's TBR. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to see my future videos, and I will see you next time. Bye!